Look at my cup, Michelle.
Hi. Mom, do you have a welcome to Morocco? Hello, everybody. It's Michelle here, and I'm live in Cabo Negro, Morocco. And I am very excited to bring you a little bit of a Canadian, Moroccan fusion meal today. I've had the great privilege of traveling across so many cities this week in Morocco. We're going to share a little bit about that. But we're going to get cooking and get these recipes started. And I'm really excited because I'm actually cooking for some friends and family here this afternoon. And I'm also going to have a guest join me so we can get all of this together. And I'm here in this wonderful condominium in the Riviera complex. And it's a great place to come and visit. So make sure you connect with us. But this is a typical smaller kitchen here that you're going to see, but we have everything that we need. And the most important thing, fresh, local ingredients. One of the most important things that Atlantic Canada Cooks is we want to connect you with culture and learn a little bit more about cultures, and you do that through their food. So today's menu, we're going to be cooking a maple mustard chicken. And what I love about this, and if you connect with us, we have this on our postcards, and this is a recipe that I love to share, and the recipe is on the back. And if you send us a comment, we will be happy to mail you a postcard. So we're going to make our maple mustard marinated chicken, which I'm really excited to share here. And we brought some maple from Canada. And we're going to be doing some beautiful roasted potatoes. And those roasted potatoes are going to be having a lot of the seasoning and the fresh ingredients that are always available here in Morocco. And then a quinoa salad. And we know you often hear couscous is an important thing in this country, but so is quinoa. So lots of fresh and wholesome grains. So we're going to make sure you guys can hear me good. We're going to get this microphone over here. All right. So let's get started with our recipe. And I'm just going to go over some of the ingredients, and then I'm going to invite Ella to come in and help me pull the dishes together. The first thing I'm going to do is get the marinade for the chicken ready, because we need the chicken to sit just a little bit so all the seasoning comes together. So we've got a bowl here. And the other thing that I want to say, when you're here in Morocco, everything is about fresh and local, and there's amazing butchers in all the street corners. So we were able to go in and get this fresh cut chicken, and thank you, it's all cut to size and ready to go. So we've got our chicken here, and I'm going to be making enough for about 6 or 7 people. So the amount of ingredients I'm putting in is going to be equal to that. So we've got our chicken here in the bowl. We're going to set this aside. And what I'm going to do is I'm going to put the base ingredients that come together for this recipe. And I know not everybody's going to have maple, but that's okay. You can use honey as a substitute. But what we're going to do is I'm going to start with some mustard. And you can use a variety of types of mustard. This is a really nice Dijon mustard. I also like to use whole grain mustard. So for this one, I'm using about 1/4 of a cup. That's going to go into here. Oh, put this here. And then what I'm going to be doing is adding some soy sauce. So this is a great salty ingredient that goes in. And I'm going to use about 1/4 of a cup of soy sauce as well. And of course, like everything, we're going to use some fresh ground pepper. And then some, I always like sea salt is a great ingredient to use. And because we're right here on the ocean too in Cabo Negro. And you always can get, so we've got great local sea salt here. And we're going to put some salt. Salt is an important ingredient when you're cooking. It brings out the flavor in everything that you're doing. So fresh garlic is a great ingredient for this, but I'm actually going to use dried garlic. And the reason why I want to do that is the dried garlic is going to be able to infuse into the marinade a little bit better. But oftentimes when I roast the chicken in the oven, I'll just add some more fresh garlic. So you see how this is coming together? It smells good already. And now we want to add the sweet. And it kind of makes your chicken like a sweet and sticky. So we're gonna, and I just realized that I have onion there, not garlic. Look at that. So what I'm adding here, I didn't bring maple syrup with me. I actually brought maple sugar. And it's just a dehydrated maple. It's gonna have all the intensity of the flavor. But to be honest with you, when I travel, it's just lighter weight. And thank you to all the maple producers in Canada. You know, a lot of people are curious about our maple. This is from Briggs Maple, just down the road in Albert County, New Brunswick. But Canada is one of the top maple producers in the world. And maple comes from a tree. So if you were substituting honey, you'd add your honey into here now. And let's get that garlic. There we go. Some crushed garlic. There we go. And again, using dehydrated or crushed garlic is key because it's going to have the seasoning go in through the chicken. Now, today we're going to cook this in a tagine, but it's amazing on the barbecue. You can also use this marinade with other meats as you like. And now you're going to see it's got a nice thickness to it because we want it to stick to the chicken. So let's get our chicken out. And we've rinsed off the chicken and make sure it's all cleaned up. I'm going to get rid of the little bit of extra moisture I have here. There we go. All right. I'm going to add just a little bit of extra salt and pepper across the chicken. And it's sort of a chefy trick, I would say, that I learned along the way. And that way, the extra seasoning, the salt and the pepper sticks to every piece of the chicken just before we add the marinade on. A little bit more salt. There we go. You see that beautiful fresh chicken in there. I'm going to get my hands a little dirty. And we're going to add that marinade in. And you really want this to sit for about 20 minutes, 30 minutes before you cook it because it's going to give you a much better flavor. There we go. There we go. I'm using a fork. Better to use a spoon. Get all of that beautiful flavor. There we go. We'll get this all mixed up. I'm going to use both, mix it like a salad. And we want to get that marinade covered with all the chicken. So we're going to get that flavor. Sometimes I make it the night before and let it sit overnight. You're going to get a little bit more of an intense flavor with that. Okay. And remember, the mustard itself has some really great seasoning in it. So you're already going to get some rich flavor with the mustard. There we go. Oh, it smells amazing already. There we go. So you're going to see how it's coated all over the chicken. And we're just going to set this aside, ready to start our quinoa salad. So let's have a look. I know we're getting some direction here. So we've already got our potatoes cut up too. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to start with our potatoes and we're going to end with our quinoa salad. So hopefully you see here on our table, we've got lots of great fresh ingredients and fresh herbs. But when I make some nice fresh potatoes all cut up here. And now what I want to do is just get that seasoning across the potatoes. And those are going to roast in the oven. We're going to be roasting these a little later because these are probably going to take about 35 minutes. So we're going to start with some nice fresh cracked pepper. And then we're going to add some salt. Always the great ingredients. All right. And I've got some dried thyme here. And I think if you're watching Atlantic Canada Cooks, as we love with everybody, thyme is my favorite herb. There we go. We're going to put some dried thyme. And I'm going to balance this with a little bit of fresh thyme as well. And this has got that nice, fresh flavor. Again, we wish we had smell-o-vision. Maybe someone here will invent that for me one of these days soon. There we go. And when you're roasting potatoes, really nice thing is you keep all the nutrients. When you boil a potato, they're delicious and great, but you're boiling out some of the nutrients. And it's a fairly fast dish. And there's that great flavor. Oh, I can smell that so well. And I might sound a little stuffy because I managed to get a cold this week while I was traveling. So we've got our salt, pepper, and then we have dried and fresh thyme. And what we're going to do is top that with some beautiful olive oil. And I've said this before, and I'll say it again and again. I think the best olives and olive oil I've had from all over the world is here in Morocco. And it's a big part of daily diet. And I think that this is something that I encourage everybody is get a little bit more olive oil in your life because it's going to be extra healthy. So we've got all of this on. I'm going to add one extra ingredient because I have it in front of me. And I'm actually going to top the potatoes with a tiny bit of that maple. And trust me, the balance of the savory and the sweet are absolutely perfect together. So there we go. These are going to go into the oven for about 35, 40 minutes until your potatoes are crispy. And those are going to be a delicious part of our meal. So let's look at that quinoa salad. Alan, you want to come up and give me a hand with this one? And we're going to get our tagine going. Hey, say hi.
Hi.
Hi, everybody. How often do you cook with a tagine?
A lot of times.
I think mainly, right? Here?
Yeah. In Morocco, it's
So what's important about the tagine when it comes? So we want to make sure it's seasoned, right?
Yeah.
Do you remember when we were in Asila and we had the new one?
Yeah.
This is not our first time cooking together. So what I have in the base of this right now is just some olive oil. And we're going to start cooking the chicken here in a second. So Ella, do you want to get that burner going and I'll pass this over to you? The other thing is everybody has gas stoves. And I love it because it gets hot and beautiful really, really fast. So that's going to get hot really quickly. And what we're going to do is we're going to add the chicken into the tagine and we're going to let that chicken cook slowly in the tagine. So we're going to get this over here. That's only going to take a minute to heat up. All right, let's get the quinoa over here. Have you had much quinoa? Never? I love it. Let's get this one. All right, we're going to get some ingredients. I am going to stir here. And we're going to add these in. Oh, we do need to chop up a little bit of parsley, though. I didn't chop it up. So we're going to use some parsley and cilantro. Do you like both of these?
I do.
You need to, because I think everybody, these are two of the herbs. Yeah. They look the same, main ones in so much of the food. But they're two different things. With the cilantro, we definitely will eat the stems. But with the parsley, not as much because they're bitter. So I'm going to get you to pull the leaves off that parsley for me. And then I am going to work on the cilantro. Yeah, just the leaves because the sticks tend to be a little bit bitter. So you don't need to be perfect with this, which is really great. And I'm going to show you, we've cooked the quinoa up earlier. And this is a beautiful quinoa. It's got, see the different colors? Smell.
Can I smell? Yeah, it smells.
Right? Quinoa is packed with protein. So it's a wonderful substitute to use in with different things. This has white, brown, and red quinoa in it. It's beautiful. I put a little bit of onion and olive oil in the bottom, and then you just put the quinoa with some water and let it cook through. So this salad is a cool salad, so we wanted to make sure our quinoa was cooled down. And we're gonna make it in the pot, and then we're gonna put it in our dish. So the base is our quinoa. Perfect. I think that should be good on,
That's enough.
a little bit more. And then we'll chop it up. Look, I forgot a potato. I'll add those potatoes after. All right. So I'm just going to tear up the cilantro. This is going to go right into the quinoa. And then we're going to get her to chop the parsley a little bit. We were talking earlier about knives. not everybody loves cooking or they get in and they're struggling. Get good knives in your kitchen. It makes
Sharp
all the
ones.
difference in the world. Sharp, right?
Yeah.
She started off peeling a potato with a dull knife and we were laughing. So there we go. See, I love cilantro. This is one of my favorite next to thyme. Yes, use that one there. We'll cut that up. So the other thing is really this salad that we're going to make, we're going to be keeping it used with Moroccan seasoning, but we've got some nice chickpeas here, and now we removed the little skins and those. So we're going to put the chickpeas in. I'm going to move that olive oil, which we're going to use some. We're going to add a little bit of olive oil. Moroccan olive oil, exactly. And you know, you can tell the difference with the consistency in the oil because the oil is going to be, how do I want to say it? You want a little bit thicker oil and you can see the clarity in it. The other thing that's pretty about this salad is all the colors coming in. So this morning we're at the market. Actually, there's little markets everywhere, which is my favorite. And we picked up some wonderful fresh carrots. Look at the size of these carrots. Beautiful fresh carrots. And we've got some wonderful cucumbers. So what I've done is I sliced the cucumber in half, but I do remove the seeds. And I really want to say when you're going to make this salad, do remove the seeds from the cucumbers, because if not, the salad's not going to turn out the same. So we've got the cucumbers all cleaned up. We've got some carrots. Look how, I think that is absolutely perfect. So we're going to stir that in. Yeah. So do you like onions?
I do not.
Ah, you know what's funny? I like onions, but I also find that raw onions are really strong,
Yeah.
right? And you taste them all day. So we're going to show you a little trick. So we've got some diced onion, and I cut it up small. And I want to take, we call it like the bite or the sharpness out of the onion. So this is just apple cider vinegar. Yeah. So what, oh yeah. This is the cooking show thing that you never do. I forgot to open the oil. Oh, got it? Perfect. So we're not gonna keep the vinegar. We're just gonna put some of the vinegar on the onion. There we go.
It lessens the flavor.
Exactly. And then you just need to, and then we're gonna drain it in the strainer. Put a little bit more. I think there's one in the sink. And it's gonna take that sharpness. And if you don't have vinegar, use water. You can just use water. Sometimes use a little bit of salt and water and just let it sit. And then you'll find once you get the nice flavor of the onion, but not that, because you eat it and taste it all day. Nobody wants to taste onion all day, just at their meal. So we're going to drain that. I think there's a strainer in the sink if you just want. Strain that out. Look at how the salad starts to come together. It's absolutely beautiful. And I love putting carrots in it. And just notice all the vegetables are going in here raw. This is one of the things I really like about this particular salad. So we're going to add a little bit of that seasoning that we're looking for. And I love cumin. And it is also an important part. And I'm going to have to tell a fast story here. Cumin's used on a lot of things. So when you come to Morocco, because we know you're going to, and you're at a restaurant and you see the salt and pepper on the table, watch out, because often that's actually a bottle of cumin, not pepper. And let's just say on one of my meals, I thought it was pepper. So that's how important it is in the flavor and the food culture here, that it's in place of pepper on a table, you're going to get that cumin. All right, drop them in. Oh, excellent. Perfect. Take a sip of my coffee. I want to say hello to my friends at Dahab Coffee. Best coffee in Morocco. Love it. Let's give that a stir. And you're also going to notice you don't even smell strong onion.
Yeah, that's
Yeah, good. So this is cabbage, which I really like cabbage. Again, extremely healthy, great for you. I'm just going to add some of that cabbage in. And a little trick when you're preparing dishes. If you cut all your ingredients up in advance, it makes the dish come together a lot faster and a lot easier. All right. I've got some nice fresh ginger here, and I'm not going to be using it in the salad right now, but when we serve it later, I'm going to put a little bit of fresh ginger in the salad. And the reason why not now is it's strong. So I do it just before I serve it, and then it just gives it a little bit of a light flavor. But again, same thing. Oh, all the markets around, you're going to get some of the nice and the freshest ingredients. Besides the fact, right?
Should I?
Yeah, show that up. We're going to make it even better. We're going to put that right in the middle of this. Move some of this out of the way. Yeah. So we got some nice fresh lettuce. I love this one. It's like a red lettuce and purple lettuce. Purple, yeah, more purple, right? I don't know why sometimes in food we call the color purple red. Yeah, put it right in the middle. The other thing that I have improved on coming to this country is my plating. And wherever you go, the extra care that's taken in the recipes to make it look beautiful. And I've learned a lot of tricks while I'm here. Another cool experience I had, we were traveling up to Nador, and I want to say hi to our friends at Seacodel, where Atlantic Canada Language Academy is launching our English programs. And while we were up there, we had a chance to travel. So we had breakfast in Tetuan, and then we had lunch in Nador. Oh, wait, I'm missing a city along the way. Tetuan, then Tangier, and Nador. What's that? Oujda. And Oujda. How could I forget that one? So a couple of times this week, we have been able to eat 3 different meals or 4 different meals in 4 different cities. But very similar to Atlantic Canada, there's a lot of driving or flying involved. This looks beautiful. You know, we're going to finish this off. We're just going to put, there we go. Ella, you're an artist. Let's get those tomatoes on there looking great. So this salad, again, it's full of freshness, great flavor, and there's not a lot of seasoning in it because I use the cumin, and we've got some salt and pepper and the fresh herbs. Because if you add a lot more seasoning, it's going to overpower the fresh. So, and we'll have to give you a fork to taste test that. So our tagine is also nice and hot over here. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to start and get some of our chicken into this. Oh, Isla, you have to get a fork and try that and tell me what you think. There we go. Try the quinoa salad. Give that a try.
I don't. It's just the
I know. It's her first time having it. Yep. Try the salad. Give it a taste. Come on. Humor us. It better be good or we're going to see this on live TV, right? All right. Go for it.
Okay.
She's debating on the flavors, but because it is. It's a totally. I think some people think quinoa tastes like couscous, and it doesn't.
It doesn't.
It looks like it. Yeah, it's got an earthier.
I never knew there's something called. What is it?
It's quinoa. Here's the fun thing. It's a word that people have a hard time saying. Great English word. People want to call it quinoa. Yeah. There we go. So, as we're going to wrap up this meal, as I said, we're going to bake the potatoes and stuff later. I've got a yellow pepper here. If you want to add, peppers are nice to add into your salad as well. Also, sometimes I don't put pepper early because, again, can be an overpowering flavor in the salad. But let's wrap up with the last few things. Move these bowls out of the way. This looks beautiful. We've got the chicken cooking.
Should we put this in the oven?
We're going to put that in the oven right here. Nice.
Should get it warmed up first.
Absolutely.
Okay.
Absolutely. It's warmed up a little bit, but always put into a hot oven when you're baking, right? That's what a lot of people don't realize that. You need to have the oven hot when your food goes in. If not, you won't cook it at the right. But most of the time, it's a good rule of thumb. Oh, this looks beautiful. Let's hold this up for everybody to have a look. Right? We're going to enjoy that this afternoon with everybody. And a Moroccan meal would not be complete, right? Bread
Yeah,
or hobs.
bread.
Am I saying hobs?
Yeah.
And this is one of the most important parts of every meal, to be honest with you, especially for a tagine. I had to learn to eat with bread because oftentimes I was looking for a fork and I'm like, oh, I'm
We
not,
don't eat with forks.
right?
Yeah.
But this
We
is
use hobs.
hubs. And it's important because you're actually more connected with your food. A lot of people don't realize that. So the last thing we're going to share here, I'm just going to move a few things out of the way as we wrap up this dish. I love it. The artist in her is fixing those tomatoes to get those right at the right spot. Moroccan sweets are absolutely incredible. And you're going to see so much care and handcrafted. And please check out our YouTube channel because we actually featured our Moroccan friends inside of Canada making some of these sweets recently. Now, what you're also going to see is honey is commonly used in a lot more of sweetness or sweeteners here.
It's important.
And it's healthy, right? We've
It
been
is.
fighting off this cold. I've been having a spoonful every day. This afternoon, we're going to cut up some nice kiwi and enjoy that as after our meal. And that's another thing that's amazing in Moroccan culture. Oftentimes, after you finish a great meal, a nice big bowl of fruit comes out, and everybody enjoys that freshness. So, do you have favorites in some of these? And should be a very full tray, but we've been busy eating. I again thank you to this. These were made by the chefs in training here and in Cicodel and Nador. And I just want to say congratulations to all of the individuals taking these programs. But I think this is one of the prettiest cookies I've ever seen. First of all, it's a heart. And oops, we're going to drop the cookie too. And this cookie is dipped in white chocolate and it's got some rose hips on it. And then in here, you're going to see these ones with chocolate and nuts. And this particular one is one of my absolutely new favorite cookies, if that's even possible. And of course, they've got a beautiful, like a shortbread with those walnuts on the top. So we're going to be finishing our meal off today with some fruit and some beautiful Moroccan sweets. And I can tell you that chicken smells delicious. How's it looking? Ah. So we're not going to be showing you the complete meal today because it's going to be cooking. I'm going to post a little bit more information on that. We're going to share these great recipes. And it's funny because I want to say from our kitchen to yours, we've had a great week. But let me just grab that chicken tagine so you can see how beautiful that is. And I can tell you something too. I was able to buy one of these beautiful tagines in Canada. So take the opportunity and find a local store and go get yourself a beautiful tagine. Look at this. Wow. Mm-mm-mm. That's my other favorite thing when you go to the restaurant and it's served right in front of you and it's still cooking. So we're going to get this on here. We're going to make sure that that gets cooked up properly. And we're going to seal that tagine with the lid. And look at that. Thanks for joining me. And we're going to enjoy eating this later. So stay tuned next week for another adventure here in Morocco. And thank you so much for enjoying this meal with us. Thanks, everybody.